Hey soldiers, looks like the Fed, or at least one Fed governor, seems to think the juice ain't worth the squeeze when it comes to the central bank digital currency. She's saying the risk outweigh the benefits to our democracy, to our privacy, to our financial independence. This thing is bad news. We've been saying that all along, but I'm just a little guy here with a little YouTube channel. Let's hear from someone in the know who's over at the Fed who is saying, this don't sound right, guys. So let's just jump right in. So we got Fed Governor Michelle W. Bowman on Tuesday, April 18th. She said during a speech at Georgetown, and I quote, "From my perspective, there could be some promise for wholesale central bank digital currencies in the future for settlement of certain financial market transactions and processing international payments." Okay, let's stop right there. What does she mean by wholesale payments? Well, not retail, okay? Not you and I, not mom and pop, not everyday taxpayers and consumers. She's saying, yeah, this thing might have merit at a high level between, governments and financial institutions and the like, but no, not for the consumer, not for us. She goes on, quote, "When it comes to some of the broader design and policy issues, particularly those around consumer privacy and impacts on the banking system, it is difficult to imagine a world where the trade-offs between benefits and unintended consequences could justify a direct access CBDC for uses beyond interbank and wholesale transactions." So, unquote. What is she talking about here when she says particularly around consumer privacy? Well, if you read that CBDC white paper, I'll try to link to it. I've done so many times before. You need to read it because it says plainly that the thing would be, and this is a United States Fed publication, says that the thing would definitely be trackable, okay? And that they would build in some mechanisms around the expiration of CBDC, okay, or the digital dollar. Now, I don't like the sound of that. When you put money under your mattress right now, it never expires. Now, it does, succumb to the ravages of inflation, but it doesn't expire. You can still spend it, right? But they're saying no, not under the CBDC. Optimally, it will be trackable, so we'll know what you're doing with it, where, and yeah, they can do that with your credit card, but they can't do it with cash, all right? So, Tyrone, what do you mean you want to hide transactions from the U.S. government? Maybe. yeah. Maybe I want to go out my box of ammunition and I don't want the government, this particular government at this particular time, seems to hate our Second Amendment rights. And I look at the Second Amendment and say, hey, I don't need to look at, Stalin or Pol Pot or Mao or any of these guys. I can look right here in the United States of America in our history. And there was a time where, the government terrorized the people via tyranny. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about slavery, all right? Back during those days, blacks were prohibited from having firearms. They were denied their Second Amendment rights. And what happened to them? They were subject to tyranny. Same thing happened with a lot of the Native American tribes, okay? If we're going to talk about history, let's talk about the entire picture. And they went in and took a lot of their rifles from them and then marched them where they wanted them to go. So right here in America, there's more than enough precedents for one to reasonably determine or arrive at a conclusion that, I might want to buy some ammunition and I might not want the government to know about it based on their prior history. Hey, you can take it up into the 20th century where good old Democrat President Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, hey, you Japanese Americans and you German Americans and you Italian Americans, you guys look too much like the enemy. We're going to have to put you in these, we'll call them internment camps. Like, sounds a lot nicer than concentration camp. We're going to put you over here just for a while. Make sure you don't do anything crazy, okay? So yeah, that's right here in America. So there are plenty of reasons why I might want to deal in cash. All right. I'll let you think of some more. Hit me up in the comments section. So this lady is saying no, the privacy concerns are too great. We live in a constitutional republic that is supposed to have all of these protections in the Bill of Rights. Further, you know, if they instituted the CBDC, Saul Umrova, she was the nominee to be Biden's comptroller of the currency. She didn't make it. She's way too radical even for today's liberal Congress. She said point blank, hey, look, one of the things we could do if we had a CBDC, just imagine, we wouldn't need to manipulate interest rates. We could just go in and prevent the consumer from spending. Easy. That's how we could slow down spending and control monetary policy. We wouldn't have to hit these companies with higher interest rates. We just stop these people from spending. She said that. So you got that. And then the Fed governor, Bowman, makes reference to CBDCs threatening the banks. Now, what does she mean by that? Well, if we have a CBDC that is controlled by the Fed, why would you need a bank, right? Because a bank today is used as a repository for your funds. Okay, if you need cash, you go get it from them. But in an environment that the most ardent advocates for CBDC and that in the environment that they want, the Fed would be the holder of the CBDC. Okay, we wouldn't need banks.
Risk outweigh the benefits.
No thanks. And fortunately, we have at least one Fed governor who sees the light on this issue, and she's sounding the alarm. So thank God for that. Noting that it remains imperative to study the potential for U.S. CBDC, Bowman said there are several instances in which it's likely a CBD would not be the best solution for a problem. For example, while some look to CBDCs to make payments faster while reducing cost and friction, these goals can be accomplished with the upcoming launch of the Federal Reserve's FedNow service. Others speculate that a U.S. CBDC could improve financial inclusion. But 95% of U.S. households have at least one member with a bank account. And the remainder are unbanked because they don't want a bank account or they don't trust banks, Bowman said. Quote, I think it's unlikely that this group would find the government somehow more trustworthy than highly regulated banks. Exactly. All right. If you don't trust the bank, you damn sure don't trust the United States government. Another common proposal is that a CBDC could be used to achieve policy objectives. We just talked about that. For example, by providing government benefits or payments that could be used only during a given time frame, expirable, if that's a word, before expiring. So look, the other thing with that piece is this: compliance. You want your little CBDC payout? Well, you're going to have to perform for it. You're going to have to take the medication when we say take it. All right. You are not going to be able to express yourself if you have a certain political ideology on these social media platforms. Okay. Look at Twitter. Before Elon Musk bought it, it was infested with feds. Okay. And you say the wrong thing, boom, you're out of here. So that's why I'm not a fan of the CBDC. Look, weigh in the comments. Let me know how you feel. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.